All right, we're back here for our final feature match of the week 1, Wilds of Eldraine League, and we got two of our league veterans here, both on the league committee, both multi-time top eighters. So should be a good matchup here. We got Steve T, who's off to a hot start this league, 4-1 or 4-0, sorry, going for that fifth win. He's up against Ryan D, the Slickness. Raphael's going to be tracking his hand. He's off to a 2-1 start. So looking to get a win there to go 3-1. What's he working with over there?
Oh, I'm calling it now. Ryan is about to absolutely mop the floor with Steve. I like what I see. We got some
Oh,
red-black action over here.
we are
He's
making
got
a we are
a.
making an early call based on nothing
Oh
but his
yes,
starting hand that he's going to go crazy here.
it's just 3 lands though. A flick a coin and a red cap thief in
Now
hand
that
with
flick
the.
a, flick a coin is looking mighty tempting here.
I'm going to put in quotation marks. He did just draw the pony, aka the Edgewall pack, the dog.
All right, let's put a pin on that one. No one will ever know what you were talking about if you call it that. We've gone over
The cool
this.
thing is he
He's a
did
dog.
just draw the Hearthflame Duelist, the adventure that can deal 3 on the backside, and
Oh,
then
that's
on
a
the
nice
creature
one.
side, yeah, it gives
So
all your spells.
Steve has got a hand of blue cards and an island. So he's assuredly not mono blue, but his hand is all blue cards. He has a Mocking Sprite. He has the Aquatic Alchemist, and he has 2 rares in his hand. The Horned Lock Whale, which has proved to be a really top performing rare, and the Ingenious Prodigy, which is that X and a blue creature that you can slowly take counters off for cards every turn. So he's got some good stuff hanging out there. He's going to play his
See,
Heartflame Duelist. Again, it's not quite a Bone Crusher giant, but it does an impersonation that we like.
I mean, Ryan did just draw the graceful takedown, so depending on what Steve plays, might be able to deal with it.
So I thought you said it was Rakdos here.
It was until he
We got red cards, we got green cards, we got white cards. I don't know. I don't know how
I
high.
mean,
I don't know how high his deck ranks on the Rakdos index now.
I think you play the grace. I mean, the duelist in a red deck. Worst case
Yeah,
scenario
yeah,
is
for
just
sure.
deal 3, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
You
plus,
you you always play it for the spell side, and then if you can cast the creature side, great. If not, it doesn't matter.
he's the fixings for it. I think Ryan's trying to think: is there a way to get this prodigy off the field right now?
All right, there's your Edgewall pack, which is clearly a dog. It is not a horse, not whatsoever in any way.
If you say so. A dog's a dog, a horse is a horse.
Oh, Steve's drawn a personal favorite of mine here, Into the Fate Court. That's a high Cloudblazer index ranking card, but more importantly, he's drawn yet another blue rare here. So, if we're wondering why is he 4-0, well, we're seeing he has 2 blue rares in hand, both of which are insanely top performers: Talion's Messenger and the Lock Whale, and the rest of his hand is a bunch of good blue cards. So, blue has been an early last place among the colors in a lot of people's thoughts. People feel like it does trail the other colors by somewhat significant margin in a lot of cases. But when you get 3 blue bomb rares, you know, you play blue, and so far it's working out.
Ryan's looking right now. He just drew into another land, so that's 2 lands in hand. Still the takedown and the thief.
Okay.
Probably looking to get aggressive here.
So this
Just
mocking,
trying
so
to
this
figure out how
mocking
aggressive.
sprite could make the Into the Fate Court cost 4 mana, which would actually make it lose marks on the Cloudblazer index. So let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Do you lose points if the CNC isn't 5? I didn't
Well,
know that.
oh, we'll just say it does. This is a meaningless imaginary card evaluation tool. Um, okay, so he's gonna, he's fallen behind here to this aggressive start, but this Lock Whale is going to at least save him some damage here. He's able to cast it for 1. I mean, he's not doing anything with the other mana, so not a big deal getting the discount, but yeah,
I mean,
this
seeing that from Ryan's side has got to be scary. Like, would you put the pack back on top?
I guess he said, let's just put more bodies in play. And here comes a red
So
cap
does
thief.
does Steve have another land in hand to cast the whale next turn?
Not quite, but he does have Aquatic Alchemist and Talion's Messenger, and he has a Bitter Chill now as well.
Yeah, I assume the bitter chill is going to be saved for the 3/3.
So you could play this Talion's Messenger here, which Unless Ryan has a removal, is going to hold down the fort here.
Well, there's no removal in hand, and as we know, we know it's coming off the top of the
Yeah.
deck.
So it looks like Steve will be able to get into the middle part of this game without too much damage done to him. So he took a little bit of a beating here while he was getting set up, but so far no red cards in sight, only blue cards. So you know, sometimes we get these pools where you're just like skewed so heavily towards one color. It has three great rares, maybe even more. Your deck's kind of just almost pre-built a lot of the time. Most people look at their pool and it's not clear what they should play, or one of their colors is very obvious, but the other isn't. Here, I guess we'll probably see some red cards at some point, but he's very well set up for blue, and this is just an opening pool. Remember?
Yes, I definitely like what I see from
Yeah,
Steve's side.
yeah, completely terrifying as far as an opening pool. Like this deck's just only going to get better, and it seems like it's already quite good from the whatever 8 cards we've seen. So
Now,
Bitter
you might
Chill
even
in
talk
hand and
about
into the Fake Court. Yet to be determined if he'll have time to play into the Fake Court, but if this 6/6 is staying on board, he will definitely have time because uh, it might be hard to remove here if he doesn't draw removal.
Yeah, Ryan just drew the Apprentice's Folly. Now I have like zero
Huh.
experience with this card. Are you familiar with what it does?
Yeah, so it'll copy two different creatures. It'll make a haste token. You have to so choose target non-token creature that doesn't have the same name as a token. So you can't copy the same creature twice. The token gains haste, and then on the third chapter, you exile all the reflections. So all the tokens that it made go away. So the point, kind of like Princess Takes Flight, is to bargain it before you get to the third.
So this this could change things a little bit. I mean, there's no way to bargain it currently right now,
So he will
but
lose. So he will lose his reflection token. So that Edgewall Pack token, and presumably he's going to copy like the Red Cap Thief. That will go away. Right. So he's
yeah, this is like
drawn.
as aggressive as possible.
Right, so he's drawn from his Into the Fake Court, which again I'm a fan. He's drawn a Bitter Chill, which it looks like he's going to cast. He has 2 Bitter Chills in hand, so he doesn't just have great rares. He has premium blue uncommons. Other cards in hand: Bitter Chill, the second one. Ice Out. That's the 1 blue counterspell. You can bargain to take a mana off, and Stormkeld Prowler. So 2 mana, 2/1 gets 2 counters when you cast a 5 mana spell. So
Funnily enough, has he seen a single red
Steve's
card
gonna
yet?
start to get busy here, which this does open him up to some pretty wide attacks if Ryan draws a removal for one of the creatures here, because the 1/1 effectively can't block the fairy token. I mean, he's in for a beating if he removes one of these 1/3s this turn.
Now, interesting enough, Ryan did just draw the two-headed hunter, the adventure that gives you a double strike.
This game just might actually be very close to over because if Ryan attacks all, he blocks the 2/2/3s. We get 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 in, and then something gets double struck. Presumably the 3/3 dog. I do think
Find
attacking with
out.
that 6/6 was a little risky there. I you know
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Did Ryan do it? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
no, this is like I said. I mean, Steve, he had the cards in hand. He did not need to attack with the 6/6 that turn.
Yeah, this will definitely be an interesting game too. I don't think Steve will do that again, knowing just how much aggression can come out of Ryan out of nowhere. And these are just
Yeah,
top decks.
but I mean, this is
Yeah,
still like a completely reasonable attack all even without the spell. Like he's taking like 8 or 9 based on his
yeah.
block. So the attack with the 6/6 just he knew he was being left open to like a gigantic attack that with any pump or removal he just gets completely blown out of the game. So
So
again, bit of a risky attack there that came back to punish him a little bit. So looking at his deck, he does have a fair amount of red cards. Another one red card that jumps to the front is another rare, the Song of Totentance. I know that's been a favorite of yours.
it's a wonderful card.
Yeah, he also
Steve has
has
that.
he has a Johan as well. He has a Hearth Elemental. So he has. I mean, blue makes up the majority, but his red cards are pulling their weight too.
So it's
So
like a 2/3 split between blue and red.
more or less. It's a very strong opening pool, I would say. Uh, looking like he can carry this deck into the middle weeks with a strong record.
See, we did lose Ryan. Let me see if I can get Ryan back.
Oh yeah, so Ryan in the past has had a bit of issues streaming. He did say that he's done some stuff to improve the situation. I think there was a feature match where we did lose his stream. I mean, if he can't, the most important thing is for him to be able to finish the match. If he's not able to stream, if the streaming is interfering with his ability to complete the match, we can go with just Steve's stream. We'll be able to survive with that.
I mean, maybe his computer used all of its GPU in top decking that game, but Ryan did say he'll be right back.
I'm not certain he needed that top deck based on the 6/6 attacking and Steve having no mana open to represent anything. So, but it helped that he was able to end the game on the spot. It's never bad. But
So, Steve, made any changes to the deck?
not really. I mean, he's 4-0 right now, and he's playing a 2-color deck, which basically means more or less doesn't have a sideboard.
That's fair. Every playable's in there. He
I
probably
think I think I spotted I think I spotted a raid bombardment and a couple of other bonus sheet cards in his sideboard. He did not even bother putting other colors of cards in his sideboard, so he's just he's blue red at least this week. I could see the red getting swapped out depending if he opens a strong rare, just because his blue is just so good that he could probably pair it with any color pretty profitably.
Yeah, so from Ryan's side, now that we have Ryan back, it seems
Okay,
we have
great.
a tiny splash for the gingerbread hunter. I mean, granted, he can always cast
Yeah,
the black side, the
that
nature
one
side.
that one you just play in every black deck and you throw in like one or two ways to make green. That card you just always play it.
Yeah, I mean, he's generating some treasures off the thieves. Also, he has two of the Scrylands that'll fix
Yeah,
mana.
Skylands I could fit.
And we
Okay.
also did see the 2-1 that'll do it also. So he has
Yeah,
ways to play it later.
yeah. The graceful takedown. I mean, it's efficient. It's not always my favorite splash because it's removal that doesn't always remove based on the state of the game. But it's efficient at least. Right, so we got a mulligan here from a one lander. Steve has a much more human hand this game, not full of rares.
On Ryan's side, it seems that we have two mountains, a red cap thief, the 4-mana dog, and the 2-drop black enchantment. The witch is why can't I think of the whole name?
You paused for a moment before you said dog, didn't you?
I indeed did.
All right. So we got a pretty honest play here. Ratcatcher training on turn 2. Obviously, if you have another 2-drop, you always play that before the Ratcatcher, so you can potentially get the adventure. But he doesn't. He has a Bitter Chill. He has a Johan, and he has 2 lands. So it looks like he's going to be leaning hard on this Johan here potentially to pull him ahead. What's Ryan holding here? Oh, well, we aside from the dog.
Yeah, we got the dog, the thief.
Right.
Most of it's like 3-mana and higher, to be honest. And he
Okay.
doesn't have a third land, so we could be just stuck on 2 for a while.
Yeah, so Steve's drawn another land here, so nothing to report on his side. Uh, Johan does come down next turn. He could potentially start generating value the turn after.
Yeah, sadly, Ryan didn't draw land, and
Okay,
he
so
drew the Hopeless Nightmare. Can't cast without
no.
black, so the only thing he has in hand that he can cast is the Stone Splitter Bolt. And it seems he's going to decide to just
Huh.
discard a card instead of firing it
Imagine
off.
you would just cast it, right? Instead of discarding.
Same.
I
I
mean,
guess he wants more value from it
you're
later.
behind, you can't cast a spell, might as well just fire it off. So here comes
Yeah.
Johan. There's a cut in on top, so that'll be drawn next turn. So whatever's under it will be the important card.
So Steve finally did get access to some black
Yeah.
mana.
Or
The
Ryan.
question is does
Ryan
he want to
rather.
Ryan, yes. Does he want to deal with the training or does he want to deploy something like the thief to get him up to 4 next turn?
It's got to be the red cap thief, right? Yeah.
It seems that's the play here.
Yeah. Make the little treasure there. Yeah. Right. So on top of his deck is drumroll. It's a mountain.
With the treasure, though, it does give Ryan the option to kill Johan next turn.
Right. So he's going to. He'll have to draw land, right? With those
Yep.
Stone Splitter.
Yeah, with the land, it's possible.
Yeah. So here's a cut in. I guess he has an instant here that he might be able to cast. Is that why there's a pause? Oh, he has the Stone Splitter Bolt, right?
Yeah, he was trying to think, but I mean, 0 times 0 is still 0, right?
Math checks out, yeah. So we got the Young Hero roll. This is a great creature to put a Young Hero roll on, just because it has first strike. So with every token, it becomes that much harder to block it. So really a great target for that effect. Young Hero has been very impressive.
I think it's. Would you call it the best roll?
I mean, not in every
They're all
board state,
situational.
but not in every board state, but when you get it on something like a first striker, a 1/1 flyer, a ginger brute, the fact that it can give more than just +1/+1, like all the other rolls, it's like tops out at +1/+1. You can't have it do more than that. But this one really can snowball, but you do need to have an attack with it at first. So it asks a little bit something. So
Yeah, but with Vanity there was
Steve does have a
definitely nice.
non-creature card on top of his deck, but it's not an instant or sorcery, so he can't cast it. It's the Curiosity.
Does he have anything else in hand to do?
He could cast his Hearth Elemental. He could cast both halves of it if he wants. Um, he would be discarding a Bitter Chill in order to get that to get the draw too. In the meantime, we saw Ryan play Witch's Vanity, another nice, really nice card. Very reminiscent of Elspeth's Nightmare from Theros Beyond Death. I mean, weaker, but reminiscent. Just gives you so many little pieces of advantages here. So he decided to not discard his Bitter Chill here to draw two. He said, I'd rather just play a 4/5 and keep the Bitter Chill for the next threat I see.
It doesn't look like there will be a threat. I think what Ryan might do is use the bolt, sacrificing the food to double it to 3. Unless he wants to get rid of the vanity to get rid of all these creatures.
I don't think he's going to do that. I mean, if he doesn't have a creature to play, the roll token doesn't do anything. So maybe he will actually, because
I mean, all you have in hand is the catapult.
I
Might
mean,
play that. We're looking at it.
okay. So that means Steve is going to be able to land a Curiosity on the 4/5 here.
And a bitter. Well,
Well, the Bitter Chill is particularly bad against the Catapult. He is going to do it anyway, but it's like particularly bad
I
because
think he
the
just wants
because
to
the,
get the
the, the
damage in.
Catapult untaps itself. But he does want to get in damage here, and with only one blue, he can't get that Curiosity.
Yeah.
So on really Catapult, instead of reading pings every turn, it basically reads whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, deal a damage more, rather than the other version. Yeah, so I mean, not the best creature to put it on, but it got it tapped, it got him down to 3, and now he needs multiple answers here. So on top of Steve's deck, we see a Stormkeld Prowler, that 2-mana 2/1 that can get counters when you cast large spells. So nothing too special going on Steve's next turn. So
He's gonna go for the twisted vanity here or twisted fealty.
huh.
Interesting. I'm not sure what the play is here.
I mean,
I don't see a way to sack it.
I could have just been he needed to untap his Catapult, right?
Yeah, but I mean, he could have also waited with the bolt to bolt one of Steve's creatures on Steve's turn and untap it that way.
Sure, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
You know what? I think Ryan thought he could bargain the creature. It looked like he just
Oh,
tried. Yep.
yeah. So
Okay.
to be fair, before the match, he did say he hasn't played too much of the format. I think 1 or 2 drafts and just a few league matches. So unfortunately, bargain is just artifacts, enchantments, and tokens. You cannot sack a regular creatures. So perhaps he was planning to bargain that 4/5 away, but
Yeah.
then realized he could not. Again, he was in trouble this game either way, but I'm sure he would have liked to get that 4/5 off the board.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the play there probably would have been to hit something for 6 on tapping your catapult and hoping you can stabilize somewhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a play that cost him the game. Well, we'll see what he draws this turn, but
We did hit the 4th land.
okay.
And
Unless
I
he
mean,
can
we still.
find multiple answers, he probably will have to sack his food to gain life.
Yeah, I mean, he has the Scarecrow for 2, still the Bolt. The Collector's Vault, he drew a few turns back. Still 2 Edgewall packs and a Goblin Bombardment. which
Yeah,
probably won't be seeing much play like anytime soon.
yeah. We know what Steve's next turn holds in store for him. He has a Curiosity in hand, and he has that Merfolk. I can't quite remember the name, but it's the 3 mana 2/3 with the little pump ability +1/-1.
Oh,
So that's
the guy that buys back a spell
no. It's the Merfolk Coral Smith.
when
You
it
could
dies, scry to. Okay.
Yeah, you can give it +1/-1. Yeah, it's hasn't seen too much play, and there's even another one on top for next turn. So he is
I think
flooded
Wizards is
with he's flooded with medium blue creatures here in these middle turns. The Prowler into 2/2/3s.
interestingly enough, can Goblin Bombardment ping creatures?
Yes,
Okay.
Golem Bombardment is basically a gloves off sort of enchantment. You could sack a creature at instant speed. It's no mana, deals it to anything. So it's basically all the best things about sack outlets. There's a reason why we don't have cards like that in limited nowadays, except in this very specific case. But you know what? This is where these type of cards should be, right? They show up. They show up once in a blue moon. It's in a bonus sheet, so it doesn't make it into the normal constructed formats where it might be able to be abused. And it's not rare, so we don't see it too often, and we get to play with it. I think it's like where a card like this should be. We should get to play with it once in a blue moon in limited, and it's
It's
like
honestly been quite a performer in limited so far. I
it's
think it's one of the
this.
better bonus slot sheets.
It's basically as powerful as you can get, honestly, for like a sack outlet. It's everything, and it's an enchantment, so it's hard to kill. Just sack 1 damage to anything. Simple.
And it goes great in the rat deck. It's found a perfect home in Ryan's deck over here. Like
Yeah.
last game.
So again, just these very middling draws here. He's got another Merfolk in hand. He's gonna fire off the Curiosity here instead of playing his Merfolk. He has a Scarecrow on top. So again, we're sort of seeing the mediocre aspects of Steve's deck, right? We saw some of the heavy hitters in game one. Now we're seeing, this is the downside of two colors. You just get so much filler. But he did get a nice lead early in the game, so he's able to try and press the advantage here.
Ryan's thinking, can he eat the food? Will the merfolk eat him, or does he bolt the 2/3 merfolk now?
So the Merfolk can go to a 4/1. So if he sacks the food, he will die, right?
Yeah. I mean, the play is sadly to bolt the the 2/3
So
and
for
just keep your black one up.
I mean, can he bolt it? He only has 2 mana, right?
Uh two
Oh,
mana
he
sack the
oh he
food
can
and
bolt it and
double.
then he can sack the rat.
Yeah, but
Okay.
he's going for the food play
Oh,
here.
that's not gonna work. Well, here's the thing: if Ryan goes to 4, he can sack the rat to kill the Merfolk.
That's a good.
So so Steve has noted that is an option. So he just says, "Let me just get him for 3."
Yeah, I think Steve knows. He's run the numbers.
Steve knows how cards work. All right, he's responsible for his weekly stumper on John's podcast. He did a little bit of a twist on it though when I was on the show. He
What
decided
do you
to
actually?
he decided to construct my nightmare scenario and then ask how it ranked on the Cloudblazer index. So he had Cloudblazer index. So he said someone's casting a Cloudblazer, and opponent has all these cards in play that make it do absolutely nothing. Basically, it costs 7 mana. It's a 0/0. It loses flying when it enters the battlefield. My opponent draws 2 cards, and I lose 2 life. So he asked where that ranked on the Cloudblazer index. So
Yeah,
he's a very devious character, definitely based on that.
yeah, these stumpers are quite the stumpers, to be honest. But this is a
Yeah, I
very
mean this wasn't so much a stumper as it was just an opinion/interpretation question. And I said it was a -2 out of 5 on the Cloud Placement, first ever negative score, because it was actually actively hurting me. Yeah, I don't know how he came up with that. That is, like I said, extraordinarily evil. Right, so
I
he's
really from Ryan. That was that was quite the line there.
a nice little play there, yeah. So he's got a Scarecrow guide here. He's got. I'm surprised he didn't fire it off. he had that deal 1 damage. He has a deal 1 damage on top of his deck, the elusive otter, or whatever it's called.
Oh,
No, not elusive otter, but the people are calling it Harry Otter, the uncommon with the ping instant attached to it. So
interesting.
yeah. So interestingly, despite how it may seem like it's worded, Johan can actually let you cast the spell side of an adventure card off the top of your deck.
Yeah, it's been quite the weird one this format, trying to figure out what cards will let you cast adventures and which ones won't.
Yeah, it's a bit unintuitive. But Johan says you can cast an instant or sorcery spell, in which case it counts. But then on the other hand, you have a card like Aquatic Alchemist with the adventure. Put an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library, and that doesn't count.
Is that the difference?
Yeah,
Like
because
between
because it's a creature card, but it has an instant sorcery spell on it. So if something's allowing you to cast a instant sorcery spell, it'll be good. You can do it. If not, you can't. So very weird and unintuitive that uh, it works for some cards and not for others. But this is where we are. So on top of his deck is an island, so that's of no use. In hand, he does have the Horned Lock Whale now, and
oh,
the Merfolk
oh,
Coralsmith, as well as the Otter, not the Elusive Otter, Frolicking Familiar is what it's called
he has an island
in
on top of the
Exile.
deck.
But this Golem Bombardment has just thrown a wrench into everything.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I'm curious if Ryan's going to choose to double block
So Steve
one or
has
the other.
put in his little text box here. So many misplays. Just I don't know if he means himself or both sides. I mean, last turn he could have pinged away the Edgewall pack that had 2 damage on it from the top of his deck. So maybe that's what he's referring to. Just there's a lot of little interactions happening here that are not necessarily obvious.
I
From
mean, Ryan's
the
had more lines to use than I thought he did per turn.
from the twisted fealty, not being able to sacrifice a regular creature, to some of the some of the plays that we're seeing here. Looks like Steve's going to be able to wrap this up one way or another, but a little bit,
So,
bit of weird
oh,
sequencing here from both players. Definitely getting to know their cards here through this match and potentially the rewatching of it.
we have the Duelist just ripped off top of the deck.
So
So
that could
between Bolt and Duelist,
so that's the
the deal 3.
okay. So he can't cast the creature side unless he makes a treasure with the collector's vault. But he
Yeah.
does have to get rid of this otter because it does have flying. Why we
I
have
think the
flying
question is,
otters, I won't ask. But
it's magic, right? It's a magical world. We're
I
in,
know
the Disney-esque kind of, situation. The Otter's one of my favorite cards in the set.
it's
It's a
sweet.
cute card.
It's sweet.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll, I'll scream off the top of my lungs. The Otter is freaking cute. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Adorable. Sure.
It's like you have the bunny, I got the Otter. I'll take it.
All right. I believe that Steve does have this as his profile picture now on
The
Discord.
bunny
No,
or the Otter.
the otter. So he's a
Ah, he
friend.
beat me to it. He beat me to it.
So
I'll take it.
you and him you're both fans of this card. I mean, I like it. It's good.
Yeah, I've seen
So what are Ryan's options here that he's weighing now in this?
figuring out to bolt something first or
Okay.
to slash something with the adventure side of the Duelist.
Yeah, I mean he's got to get this frolicking familiar off the board.
So he's going for the Collector's Vault
So that will allow
first.
him to cast the creature half.
Yeah. Drill Mountain, toss that away. Cast the creature side of the Duelist. And then I guess we're gonna bolt something here.
Well, he still has the Stone Splitter Bowl, right?
Yep. Probably getting rid of the vault.
Oh, so he's not casting the instant side of the duelist. He doesn't have to cast the vault to kill the otter, right? He doesn't have to bargain.
No, yeah, you're right. He could just do the 2 damage to it. Gain 2, go to 5. And you said Steve has a whale?
Yeah, and Steve says not using the adventure half scares me. He says,
I don't blame him.
what is coming?" But he's gonna see. I mean, Ryan just has to fire off the bolt immediately on the flyer, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty terrified if I were Steve also. But I mean, it's not as bad as Steve thinks.
I mean, not sure exactly what he's wearing here. This flyer does just kill him, so maybe he just wants to gain extra life. Because the most he could do is 4 damage to a creature, so he can't kill the 5 toughness creatures. So the best he could do is sack one of his cards there. But I think both of those cards are gonna be needed if he's gonna have a shot here. But looks like he's sacking the bombardment to just gain 2 extra life. So just giving himself a bit of a life cushion here. All right, so he has a sleight of hand on top of his deck, which he can cast for free here. Well, not
You
well,
said,
not for free mana wise, but off the top of his deck.
I
Fully
mean, with the
realistic
island
also.
draw, I think the play is just to play the whale, right?
Looking like that. So he's not going to send in Johan because Ryan can actually just double block and trade off his duelist, and Johan will die. So doesn't want that. He's just saying, here's a big thing. Deal with it.
Interestingly enough, Ryan just drew the the saga from last game, The Apprentice Folly.
That's
Gonna
doesn't.
grab a treasure.
I mean, I
To
guess I can put a couple of things on board, but they will go away.
yeah,
So
which
he
is
can he can
interesting.
he can get some board presence, but if he doesn't bargain it away, those tokens just disappear.
It's like he'd rather have the bombardment here, but he would have never been able to cast it without the vault. So it's an interesting choice we chose to
All right,
sack
so
there
sleight of
ago.
hand here. He's gonna put a mountain on the bottom. He's gonna take his third Merfolk Coralsmith into his hand. So he has 2 Merfolks in hand, and he has another Scarecrow on top of his deck. So this is what you have to do sometimes to play 2 colors in week one. You have to play double Scarecrow in your 2 color deck. You have to play triple Merfolk Coralsmith. But it's working. I mean,
I mean,
these are
bodies,
probably
right?
among the first cards to be cut once he gets packs. But
Yeah, I think the question now is does he send all three to block, or does he just block the 4/5, the 6/6, and
well,
hope for the best next turn?
he doesn't want to let the 2/5 go through. He has a free block on the 2/5, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like you also have to block the 4/5 and the 6/6, right? It just die.
Yeah, it's double chump, and then he's blocks the reflection because that's going to die anyway. Okay, looks like he is going to actually get something off the board here. Um,
Now, interestingly enough, if Steve keeps the token alive, he can't copy the token.
yep. So the apprentice fly is actually doing nothing now, and funny enough, Steve is at one, and or no, Ryan's at one. Steve's got a ginger brute on top. But he's also just got 4 attackers here. Actually, Gingerbrute gets blocked by the reflection because it has haste. So, but there's just 4 bodies versus 1 blocker. So that clearly
Honestly,
is
that's
gonna.
such a good point that I feel like most of us would fall for. We'd forget that the token gets haste.
Oh, I keep track of what blocks Gingerbrutes. It is important.
Listen, you're better than I am. I always forget Gingerbrute can be blocked by creatures with haste.
Yeah, in original Throne of Eldraine, we had there was that tricky. It was a crashing drawbridge. You could tap it to give all your creatures haste. So that was the anti Gingerbrute tech back then.
Was Crashing Drawbridge actually good back then? I've
It
heard
was
like mixed reviews of
it
it.
was playable. It let you turn the corner pretty fast, honestly. And in an aggressive deck, I mean, it wasn't always what you wanted to do on turn two, but it let you apply pressure. It was a pretty good card. Didn't go in every deck. It sometimes mattered that it was an artifact. It could give you some explosive turns, and like I said, I played it in some control decks where early blocker, and then when I needed to end the game, I would just late in the game I'd just play 2 flyers and just give it haste and try and end the game super fast. So it had its use.
I feel like I've never once put it in a single Eldraine deck yet. But then again, I was not good at Eldraine. Maybe that's
Well,
why.
you can do it in this league. You can open up Throne of Eldraine, which is allowed in this league. We did a little throwback where Normally, it'll be the most recent 6 sets that are in standard, but here we swapped out the last one, the least recent one, and we brought in Eldraine. So you can have a Crashing Drawbridge in your League deck. It's possible.
You've sold me into it. I'll open Eldraine next pack. I got
Okay.
you.
I'm not sure I believe it, but here we are. So Steve, I think Steve took out a 9 Crescendo from his deck, which really that's not his role in this matchup. The go wide +2/+0 card. He brought in another counter spell, an ice out. Looks like Ryan maybe is taking a bit more time to sideboard here.
Yeah, Ryan took out one of his 2 drops. I didn't quite see what it was
Okay.
and brought in the light blades.
Oh, the light blade. So that, but that's on the splash, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But I mean, it probably is one of his best ways to deal with the whale, or anything
Yeah,
that's
and I
too
mean
big.
he saw some 5 toughness creatures that potentially some of his removal doesn't deal with.
So
You
that
know.
first hand went back 1 mountain, 4 like black cards.
Yeah.
But the second hand's a little better. We have the Crystal Grotto, 2 mountains,
Okay.
the Light Blade, Conceited Witch, Flick a Coin, and the old Stone Splitter Bolt. What's Steve got over there?
All right. So we're looking at Gingerbrute on turn 1. We got a Grand Ball Guest to follow up. We got a Cut In, and we have the Hearth Elemental, and we got 3 lands. So Steve will be casting spells.
I'm clutching my chest. Ryan just put back his sideboarded Light Blades.
Huh. I guess he
I
figured
mean,
he wasn't gonna have any targets early, but here's a cookie.
it's interesting. I mean, he has Goblin Bombardment off the top. I think he scried
Huh.
the Trebuchet to the bottom, but I mean, there's nothing for this bombardment to do for quite some time.
So Gingerbrute with the original art, I personally prefer the original art over the new one. It focuses a little more on the gingerbread man himself
Oh,
rather
I
than
agree.
the whole background. And well, just one little flick of the coin can knock that cookie off the table here.
I mean,
Um,
gingerbread is quite fragile.
so I mean, this might not end up. This creature might not end up living, but he's gonna at least get 1 card out of his curiosity before his creature potentially dies here.
He had to live for a turn. Ryan did draw the gingerbread hunter the
Okay.
previous turn. So with the mountain, he can play it off of the grotto.
Oh, it's getting in. Well, you said he had the Stone Splitter Bolt too, so
No mana though, right?
he's getting his card from curiosity. So if his creature dies, he's not down a card. I mean,
Yeah.
the curiosity
It-
replaced itself, so it's just a 1-for-1 on the creature, and the curiosity is a wash. He's not up a card, but he's not down a card.
I think Ryan's thinking what line he wants to go here. He did
Well,
just
it's definitely whatever he does, he's making sure that 2/2 is not getting through, whether it's trying to put a blocker or just removing it from the board.
I would think he wants to remove it, but he did mouse over that 4 drop adventurer, the
Huh.
picnic
Well,
raider. Is that
that's
what
just a 2/2 for 2, right?
exactly? I would think he just wants to get rid of the 2/2 and make sure no more cards are drawn off it.
Yeah, these curiosity effects, very snowbally, right? Just
Yeah.
much safer to kill the creature than to say I'm gonna block it. Steve has a nice draw here. The what's it called? Ingenious Prodigy, the X and a blue draw cards guy, and he's just gonna fire that off here. Make a 3/4, draw some cards. I mean, this is what blue players want to do. Make a threat, draw cards with it, and even potentially attack with it. Very cool design. I mean, Skulk is a not a very beloved mechanic, but it kind of fits on this card because it makes itself smaller. So the smaller it gets, the harder it is to block. So very cool design here. This is a nice use of an otherwise forgettable mechanic.
So Ryan's got a few options here. He did just draw the Mythic Uncommon.
Is that the recruiter?
The recruiter? Oh, yes, it is.
Okay.
And he's got 5 mana with the treasure. So there's a few lines he can take this. He can decide to deploy the 2/2/2s. He could just bolt the 3/4, play the hunter. I mean, there's multiple ways this turn goes.
Yeah, he actually has a lot of options here, despite the fact that it looks like his mana is not great. But between the gingerbread, or not the gingerbread, between the he could play the gingerbread hunter, but between the crystal grotto and the treasure, he has options. He's just gonna play big old 5/5. He says there's not many red cards that deal with that. He did see Bitter Chill in previous game, but look,
I don't think I'm upset with this play, though, because it gives him a food to use the bolt for.
yep.
So he still keeps that option live.
So Steve has drawn another land, and he's got the Bellowing Bruiser, which is that 4/4 haste with the adventure. of two creatures can't block. I mean,
Think he's gonna fire it off?
he's looking to target the gingerbread hunter with cut in, which doesn't kill it.
Interesting.
I guess he just wanted a roll token.
Yeah. Now that is interesting.
Huh.
If he can deal with the hunter, he can keep getting rid of these counters and keep drawing cards.
That was huh.
Interesting. I don't know if I like that line, but that's interesting.
He's doing a bit of taunting here with his message. You can, yeah, we saw what he wrote. Just interesting.
Yeah. Now the question is
I
what line is
mean,
wrong?
I don't think I would have seen. I don't think I would have come to the conclusion that it was worth 4 mana to just put a roll token on my, on my creature. I would have almost for sure done something else. But look, he's gonna keep drawing cards.
I mean, if he could have killed Ryan's creature while also doing that, I think it would have been way cooler, right?
it's just gonna be a 3/4 basically permanently when it attacks, right? So
Yeah, and I mean,
he'll
it
take
does
a
have to
counter
get
off,
in.
put a counter on, take a counter off, put a counter on, draw cards. Let's see.
Now, Ryan is going to get aggressive here, but you did say Steve does have that 4/4 haster.
He has a 4/4 haste. He has the Hearth Elemental too, so he has some big bodies he can deploy. Um, his two cards drawn here, nothing to inspire much confidence here. There's a Scarecrow Guide and the Ice Rot Sentry, which is that 3 mana 2/3 uncommon that can tap things when it attacks and gets bigger. It's been a bit of an awkward card from what I've seen.
Does he have anything to deal with the hunter?
I mean, he can just put stuff in front of it. He has bodies.
So, I mean, I think Ryan's just trying to chip away until a big recruiter turn, if
Yeah,
possible.
I do want to take a mention to take a moment to mention the Bellowing Bruiser, which is the 4/4 haste with the adventure. Two creatures can't block. That card's been surprisingly decent. I found. Like two creatures can't block, or even all creatures can't block, is just like not an effect we play in limited nowadays. Maybe in the past they did, but it just doesn't offer enough. But when it's good, it's like it's game winning a lot of the time, or at least it can really, really put you ahead. Um, and like I said, we would never put it in our deck because it's too situational. Like most of the time, it's not going to do enough. But attached to this 5 mana 4/4, it's completely playable. And that when that card is cast, it is doing something very, very strong.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
cool.
part of
It's
that
cool
card,
that
right?
they stapled a situational card onto like a totally acceptable body. 5 mana 4/4 haste. Nothing crazy, but you know, very playable. So very, very, very cool design there. Just putting that effect that we just never would want to put in a deck and limit it because it's too narrow onto a card. And I've seen it win games for me and against me.
So many times. It almost feels like the 4 mana deal one to your opponent's board from
Yeah, whatever it's called,
yeah.
Hazardous Blast. Yeah.
Seems we're gonna deal with the prodigy here. We still have
Yeah,
stones.
that thing was we had fun with it while it lasted. I enjoyed the little game there. Like I said, I'm not sure if that was the absolute ideal play on the turn he did that, to just cast a cut in to spend a removal spell not removing something, but look, he did a cool thing, and we like cool things. So we got a double striking Picnic Ruiner here and a 6/6. So a bit of trouble here for Steve. This Gingerbread Hunter has just proved hard to remove. Again, red, not really good with more than 4 toughness. I mean, there's Stone Splitter Bolt, but that's an uncommon. You need a lot of mana.
Been quite a menace over here to Steve.
Yeah,
I guess Ryan's yep, trade off the
I
two
guess he
two.
needs like a Bitter Chill. That would probably be his best answer.
Put the gingerbread on ice.
Or if he has anything to curse it. I don't know if he has curse access to curse tokens, but
Yeah, I mean cursing it. Bouncing is not the best thing in the world, but I mean it's something to slow down this amount of aggression.
yeah, I mean, he could put jump blockers in front,
Creature.
I guess, but Ryan's only, his limit here is the mana situation. Just
Yeah,
lack of different colors and lack of lands themselves. But obviously he's doing well in the meantime. So what
I'm
Steve
pretty sure if
has
he could have, he would have already fired off this recruiter.
So what Steve has done here is he's left open Ice Out. He would have to sacrifice his Scarecrow guide, but he can counter something. So if something's going to come down that's gonna really threaten him, because I mean they're both at 8, so this could go either way, right?
And you can't pay anything to still have your card resolved with Ice Out. It's just a pure counter.
It's a counter target spell, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one
So, I
blue
mean,
blue. If you bargain it, it's blue blue.
interesting.
Yeah.
Curious the line Ryan's going to go for. That Ice Out's really going to be a bane and a side for this turn. So, I mean, he has 3 mana plays. Can't do the Recruiter this turn. He has a Swamp on top, thinking if he wants to do that next turn to deploy the 2/2/2s. Then he still has the Bolt. But, I mean, Ice Out would really set that back. It's pretty much like time walking him.
Yeah, let's see what he decides. So he's going to keep the land there to be able to deploy more spells next turn. Attacking for 6. I think Steve's just going to take it here.
I would think so, too.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. He's going to block. Wow. All right.
That's interesting because he still has a 4/4 haster in turn,
right? Actually, he has to block. Gingerbread Hunter has the Wicked Roll token on it, so if he goes to 2, he can sack the Gingerbread Hunter to the bombardment, deal 1 damage, Wicked Roll, deals last damage.
Heads up play right there.
He absolutely had to block there. So, yeah. So
wow,
that would have been the extra 2. So that was a forced block. All right. Well, he's got a 4/4 haste he could play, or a 2/3 for 3.
Oof. So. This Recruiter is more than likely coming down next turn, unless all Steve does is just play 1 creature. Then we'll probably see the line you were just speaking of. Is Steve able to deploy 2 creatures or just 1?
I think he has 7, so he can only do 1.
Yeah. But Ryan, I mean, he might just bolt the creature and say, hey, listen, I'm going to go for it.
I mean, good chance that he should.
Some people are more conservative,
So he's going to put out the worst creature here to get in the way of this Gingerbread Hunter. Saving the haste. Maybe there's a situation where he can get in with it or get this 6/6 off the board. I mean, he's kind of just on his last legs here. Ryan has 4 cards in hand. Presumably, he can find a way to win in the next couple turns.
I'm kind of rooting for you here, Ryan. You seem a little distraught knowing Steve was 4-0. Coming for the Titan.
He was also was straight up telling us that he may not be familiar with all of the card interactions. So here's just a bunch of haste here. So that's just gonna wrap up the game. doesn't care about making a roll with the Merry Bards. Doesn't care about sending his guy on an adventure. He's gonna go to 1 here, and the Goblin Bombardment will finish off Steve. So Ryan denies him the perfect week here, the 5-0 week. So we see 2 4-0 players get stopped in their tracks here on their last match of the week. And this brings our week 1 feature matches to a close. So congratulations to Ryan pulling out the win there against Steve with the last point of damage from that little Goblin Bombardment. So very fun match. Thank you to both players. And once again, congratulations to Ryan. See everybody for next week's matches.